Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. When it comes to big or small projects around the home, Tony and Corey have got the know-how and the answers to make your life just a bit easier. Here they are, your Weekend Warriors, Tony and Corey.
Hey, welcome to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. I'm Corey Valdez.
And I'm Tony Cookston.
Welcome, and thanks for listening to the show today, Tony, or thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad to be here because this show is one of my favorite shows. This is kind of one of those shows where we dream big and talk about all the things that make us happy.
Absolutely. We are going to give out a list of Christmas gift ideas because Christmas is around the corner. Literally in a couple weeks.
It is right around the corner.
So if you haven't gotten your Christmas shopping done yet, now is the time. Make your way into a Parr Lumber company. Pick up some of this cool stuff for the Weekend Warrior in your life.
When I look at the corner, I can actually see green and red lights shining from around the corner. That's how close Christmas is.
Well, all my Christmas stuff is up. I mean,
yeah, you did that
ready.
fast.
I
You
did
that very fast. And
I did it before Thanksgiving.
It looks so good too.
Yeah, we were gone for Thanksgiving, so we wanted to get it done the weekend before.
Yeah, well, it was great. The first thing the kids wanted to show me, come over and see our Christmas tree. It's up. It looks so good. Yeah, absolutely love it.
So anyway, so today that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about all kinds of gift ideas for the Weekend Warrior in your life. We've got them separated out into stocking stuffers, gifts under $100, and gifts over $100, which, that list of over 100 just seems to be getting bigger. Is stuff just getting more expensive?
No. So Corey and I worked on the list together, the two of us, and individually. And so I think that I added a lot of things that
that's
should
true.
be.
Some of these are probably
they should
under
be
100.
in the under 100 column, but I just kept adding them. I was thinking of things, and I felt like it was more important to remember my thoughts than to organize them on the paper, because by the time I made a change, I forgot what I was thinking.
Well, you actually have some pretty funny ones on here. 9-volt batteries.
I feel like it's something that you just wish you had, but you rarely just think to stop and grab it when you're there.
As a gift, I mean, that's like that's the classic 7-Eleven gift. I forgot. And you're over there in the morning picking up coffee, a paper, and trying to find gifts. So you get like a Slurpee cup, 9-volt batteries.
There are some things that
really
end up
bad headphones.
There are some things that end up in the stocking that are less like wants and more like needs.
Sure, like toothbrushes. My wife does toothbrushes.
There you go. Chewing gum sometimes ends up in there, or mints, or that sort of a thing. I mean, I feel like a couple of 9-volt batteries is, not always a bad deal.
In a note that says, change your fire.
Yeah, your smoke detectors.
Your smoke detectors.
Change the batteries in your smoke detectors, and here's the batteries. No more excuses, right?
Maybe how about this? Maybe you change all the batteries in the smoke detectors, and you put the old ones in the stocking saying, I changed them.
I did
Merry
it for
Christmas.
You. Merry Christmas. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, see?
I really do like that a lot.
That's slightly better than a hug coupon.
Yeah, so if some of our items that are in the over 100 section are actually not over 100, we apologize. It's Tony's fault. It's definitely always Tony's fault.
Well, there's some other good ones on here.
Yeah.
What is a creeper? Oh, wait, I know what a creeper is.
Sure you do. Your dad was
I work with one.
Your dad was a mechanic, and he, I'm sure, had creepers around the house.
Yeah.
I work with one. No, yeah, absolutely. A creeper. I do not own a creeper myself. I'm not really one to work on cars much, but if you just change the oil in your car, or if you just want to get underneath there and take a look at what's going on, a creeper is a great way to go. It's easy to store, and it allows you to be on your back, move around underneath the vehicle without being on the ground or having to slide around. It's a nice tool.
I tell you what, as I get older, and I still change the oil on my vehicles, getting under there is a task. So I could definitely use a creeper.
Yeah, it's great. It's got a little pillow for the neck support, and it's a great tool.
So
here's
the thing. This is one of those things that transcends time, because I just Googled creeper.
Yeah.
I just was like, I want to see a picture so we can all look at a creeper. And, believe it or not, when you Google image search creeper, there's some weird stuff that comes up. But Minecraft. You know what the game Minecraft?
I'm not familiar, huh?
That is a very popular game amongst the kids. And there is something in that game called a creeper.
He's one of the characters in there, huh?
And they sell creeper things.
Yeah,
so,
well, there you go.
That's a good gift idea.
Here's another one that's not on the list. It didn't make the list because we ran out of room or time or whatever, but it goes right along with the creeper, and that is a jack.
Oh, yes.
Whether it's a bottle jack, a hydraulic bottle jack, or if it's a jack with a rolling jack or a floor jack. A jack is a great thing for a weekend warrior homeowner to have in the shop or in the garage.
Well, and I'll tell you, if your weekend warrior that you're buying for is a garage type person, a mechanical, works on cars sort of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a hydraulic jack stands.
Oh yeah, jack stands.
Jack stands are different than a jack. A hydraulic jack actually lifts the vehicle up, but jack stands are the safety that they're made out of steel. You set them under the rails of the car, and won't allow that car to fall. Or if the jack fails, then it'll sit on those stands. You never want to climb under a car that's only lifted with hydraulic jacks.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, a hydraulic jack can fail. It's a mechanical type item.
My grandfather
but
was crushed by a vehicle when he was changing oil or something. He was and his hydraulic jack failed, and all the gas let out, and it fell on top of him.
That is scary.
And he was pinned.
Yeah,
so he didn't get hurt, but he was pinned, and he had to have scream for help. But I remember that story, so I never climb under my vehicle if it's jacked up with a hydraulic jack. And another thing that is really good to go along with that is a wheel chock.
Oh yeah.
So if you are jacking up a vehicle, the front, you want to put wheel chocks behind it because you never want to trust just the brakes.
You know what my dad used to have? He had this set of ramps that were super grippy. And
oil change ramps.
Yeah, you would just drive your front tires right up on the ramp, and then the front tires would sit in a little cradle right up on top. And they were red. They were great. He used them a lot. Actually, my dad worked on cars a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, my dad had ramps, and he would let me pull the vehicles up on them.
Really?
Yeah, he would give me the wave forward, wave, stop!
Yeah. No, I definitely did never get to do that.
That was a little scary as a 10-year-old.
Yeah. There's some things that are sort of mechanic related or automobile related things that are great gift ideas. If it's not something that the weekend warrior in your life has already, those are great gift ideas.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, we get people all the time that come into Parr Lumber, and then you see them kind of walking around, and you say, well, can I help you? Well, yes, I have. My son-in-law or my daughter is they work for a construction company, he's a framer. What can I get him?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because there are so many cool things that I'm sure that they haven't thought of buying for themselves.
Yeah.
To me, that's what Christmas gifts should be. Buy stuff that they wouldn't buy for themselves.
Christmas gift ideas for the weekend warrior in your life. You're listening to Tony and Corey, your weekend warriors. Don't go away.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. Thanks for staying with us. If you haven't already, go check out our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're at WW Home Show. We're recording the show right now for our video podcast. So go check that out. You can see what our mugly mugs look like.
Mugly mugs.
Mugly Uggs. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's fantastic.
You can listen to our podcasts on Spotify, iHeart, also on
iTunes.
iTunes, yeah.
Is it iTunes still, or is it Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, they dumped iTunes.
Yeah.
So
podcasts are available more and more. They're available all over the place, and I absolutely love that because podcasts are super fun and really help you pass the time, and I love being a part of it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's something to check out.
So if there is a portion of one of our shows that you would like to re-listen to or want to send to somebody. We actually had a lady send us an email the other day about listening to our last week's show. Mm-hmm. It's available on our website. It's www.homeshow.com. Click on there. All the links are on there, so it's super easy.
You can also go to parr.com, Parr.com, and click on the Weekend Warriors link. That will take you there as well.
Yes, sir. So anyway, Christmas is around the corner, and if you haven't gotten all your Christmas shopping done for that Weekend Warrior in life, we're going through a list of tools today, and not just all tools, but stuff. We got a whole list of stuff.
Okay, I have a challenge for you. I am going to throw out this challenge, and then you are going to have to reciprocate, okay? I am going to tell you about a Christmas gift that I know you want. How about that? This is me paying attention.
Okay.
Corey would love to have in his arsenal of tools a joiner.
Oh, my.
We recently had a project where a joiner would have really helped us out. We ended up having to sort of source out that part of the project in order to get that done because it wasn't a tool we had. We didn't really have time to try to find one on the cheap. So we had to source that part out. But you did mention to me it was something you'd like to have. Tell me how a joiner works and what we needed it for.
So breaking out would be a joiner is something for a woodworker. You know, the woodworker in your life. And they're not cheap. The cheapest jointer you could buy would be $400.
If it's new.
Yeah, new. I mean, sure, you could buy used.
I feel like we tracked one down on Craigslist or something.
It's only
for about
400 miles away.
For about $150. But I'm just saying it was used, and
yeah, but it's not one of
how desperate we were in the moment.
It's not typically a tool that the average Weekend Warrior would own.
Right.
This is something Tony and I've been doing woodworking for years and years and years, but I've just never bought one. And what it is, it planes the edge of wood. So if you have a piece of lumber like we were building a table out of black walnut, and the edges of the walnut were live edge.
Right.
We went to the store, Gobi Hardwoods in Northwest Portland, and bought this lumber. It was straight off a bandsaw mill, and it was kiln dried. We brought it home. Absolutely gorgeous lumber, but it was not square. It was not flat.
It was rough sawn.
It was rough.
So it wasn't any of those things except it was just really,
Yes.
It was a diamond in the rough.
It was gorgeous. So we did every trick in the book that we could think of to get square lumber with the tools that we had. And we employed a straight edge and a saw, and we sawed that, and then we put it on the table saw and tried to square it up as best we could. It was really close.
It was close.
It was really, really close, but
honestly, it was close enough for my standards and not close enough for Corey's.
Not mine, yeah. And I said, man, we need a jointer. And Tony said, what in the world is a jointer?
Yeah.
Why would you need that?
Right.
Well, so essentially what it is it's two pieces of cast iron on a table, like a long table. Usually they're about anywhere between 4 feet and 6 feet. I mean, they can get really big. But 3 to 4 feet long would be typical. And on one side, that cast iron plate is slightly higher than the other side by maybe a 1/16 of an inch. And in between those two is a rotating blade or set of blades or helical blade. There's all kinds of different, versions of plate joiners. And what you do is you take that piece of lumber, put it on edge, and slide it across from one side, the lower side, to the higher side, and it flattens that board out. Sometimes it takes 2 passes, 3 passes, 10 passes, and if there's any wave in that side of the board, it will take those out and make them completely flat.
Interesting.
So when you're gluing 2 pieces of wood together, it's flat to flat.
Right.
So that's what we really needed to make that tabletop, and we didn't have it.
No, we didn't have it.
So I absolutely want a joiner.
Yeah.
But the one I want is about $1,500.
That's a very big gift, but that's what Christmas is all about, right? That's when these types of things happen.
Yeah, like
Miracles.
I was saying before the break, the things that I feel like you should get Christmas gifts for somebody, the thing that you should get them is something that they wouldn't typically buy for themselves.
Right, exactly.
I'm not going to get that for myself. That's maybe overindulgence, or it's too expensive, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I like getting those gifts.
Yeah, that's a great gift. I agree. Okay, so we've got a list, a lot of things, under 100, over 100, stocking stuffers, and then sort of some miscellaneous type stuff. But let's just jump into a category here and start talking about some of the stuff.
Let's knock out some of the under $100 items.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I mean,
that's people like to go out and spend 20, 30, 50 bucks. Maybe if you have a gift exchange. I tell you what, we go to a gift exchange every year, a Christmas gift exchange with our friends. And I hate to toot my own horn, but my gifts that I bring are always the most popular.
Yeah, you're a great gift getter.
They open them, they get stolen, then they get stolen again. Because I choose items that are in our price range, but I get useful things. Like at Parr Lumber, I'll go over and grab a Fat Max tape. Tape measure that, I'll see when it goes on sale and I can grab it. It's under 20 bucks. We have a $20 limit. People love those. Those are great gifts.
We did a tape review, YouTube video of reviewed different brands of tapes and what we thought were great about them and maybe some of the things we thought weren't great about them. One of the tapes that was in our top 2 was a Comelin. And the Comelin tape is a very inexpensive tape, but they really make a good tape in my opinion. Well, it just so happens that right now at Parr Lumber, they have a brand new Comelin tape.
Seen it.
It's got a white rule, which we really like the white rule. And it's also got a little LED light on it. So if you're working in low light or in a corner or something like that, you could just, with your middle finger there on your right hand or left hand you're using, squeeze that little light and it lights up the blade, which is really, really nice. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's a good, and it's not expensive.
No, it's $9.99.
Yeah, it's $10.
Yep.
That is a great gift.
Great stocking stuffer.
Fantastic stocking
Under
stuffer.
100, yeah.
So, how about this? A Vaughan hammer.
Yes. Vaughan is a great brand of hammer. There's lots of different brands of hammers out there. We sell lots of different brands of hammers. But Vaughan seems to be maybe the industry leader.
I think so. They make a great hammer.
They really make a great hammer.
Estwing, Vaughan, DeLugie, those are all kind of the big manufacturers of hammers. But Vaughan, made in America, they've been around for eons. Let's talk a little bit about the different types of hammers, because when you walk into Parr Lumber Company and you look at the hammer wall, yes, we have a hammer wall.
Yeah, so many.
There's 20 different hammers in different weights, different faces. Let's take a minute and talk about the different faces, because you might walk in there and say, I need a hammer for my Weekend Warriors. Well, there's going to be questions. What kind of work do they do?
Right.
Mostly.
Right.
So let's run through that a little bit.
Yeah. Finish work, for example, you're going to have a smooth face on your hammer. Whether it's a heavy or a light hammer, whether it's got a long handle or a short handle, a smooth face is going to be for finish work that you don't want to get marred up when you're driving your nails. And then adversely, of course, there's a mill face. And a mill face would be for something that's not a finished situation, something that could potentially leave marks, but it's not going to bother you because it's going to be covered up with finished work after. Also comes in different lengths handles, different weights of the head, and then so much more even beyond that. And actually, we have to take a quick break. So we'll take a quick break, come back, finish out talking about hammers. You'll listen to Tony and Corey, your Weekend Warriors, and we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show built by Parr Lumber. Thanks for staying with us. Today we're talking about Christmas. It's right around the corner. We've only got a few weeks, so Tony and I are giving you a list of Christmas gift ideas for the Weekend Warrior in your life. But before the break, we were talking about hammers. It's amazing how many different types of hammers there are. Smooth face, milled face. And what we mean by that is when you grab the hammer, the hitting surface, the metal hitting surface, it's on the front of the hammer. That's called the face.
The head.
The head of the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
A smooth face hammer is for finish work, like we said, something that you want to hit and not leave a mark. There's also a milled face hammer. That's for more of like framing. And what that is like those waffle marks that you see on the front of the hammer. That allows it to grip nails as you're hammering in framing nails into lumber.
Because you're doing that harder and faster with bigger nails.
Correct.
And it's more important that your hammer really grip the head of the nail and less of an issue that it overdrives and mars up the wood.
Right. And we would call those typically a framing hammer. So if you came in and the person you're buying this hammer for was a framer, or they worked with, building things out of framing lumber, a framing hammer would be good for that.
Right.
Not necessarily a smooth face hammer. You could, but it's that's what that is for.
Right.
There's also rubber mallets, wooden mallets, dead blow mallets, sledgehammers, a ball peen hammer, which is more for a metal worker, a maul. What is a maul?
A splitting maul.
A splitting maul?
Yeah, it's got a sort of dull axe face with on one side with a sledge hammer on the other side.
Sounds dangerous.
And you will drive a splitting maul into a round of wood, for example, and then you can hit the top of that. You know, if you've probably swung an axe at a piece of wood and you hit it and it's like it didn't even affect it, right?
Totally.
And you hit it 100 times and it doesn't affect it. You drive a splitting maul in there and then beat on the back of the splitting maul with a sledgehammer, and it drives that maul down through that wood. So you can split the most stubborn wood that way.
Good to know. I never split wood, so.
No. We actually have on the list also, in a different place because it's more expensive, a hydraulic wood splitter. Have you ever seen one of those?
I have seen. I've never operated one because I don't split wood for any reason.
Yeah.
But for if you had a person in your life that was splitting a lot of wood, that would be a good, very expensive.
It tends to be something
gift.
that outdoorsy type people will do to make a little side money. You know, they'll fall trees on somebody's property, and they, all they want is the tree to get gone, and then they'll haul it off. And anyways, they get this hydraulic wood splitter, and you take those rounds after you've used your chainsaw, your Makita chainsaw to saw them all up, your cordless Makita chainsaw, to saw those all up, and then you just put those rounds in there, and it splits them. It's quite a deal. It makes really short work of something that would otherwise have probably turned you into somebody stronger.
Like working on your cabin.
Yeah.
That's where I think you would split a lot of lumber, is
Yeah.
working on your cabin.
I agree with that.
Next on the list here, we have a Fat Max tape measure. I mentioned that earlier. That is the quintessential best tape measure, in my opinion. You can pick one up for under $25. I highly recommend it. Just a standard 25-footer or a 30-footer. It's when they get a little big. I think the 35-footer is the same tape, the same size as a 30-foot tape, but they put an extra 5 feet of tape in it.
The case is the same size?
Yeah, and it gets
a little heavy.
A little heavy, but it also gets kind of winds up in there poorly. So I know people that actually dislike the 35-foot tape for that reason.
Well, yeah, tape measure is a great gift for the weekend warrior in your life. Absolutely. A tape measure. We have tape measures all over in my house. I'm sure Corey, I know for a fact, has tape measures all over his house. There's one for every room.
I try to.
Or two for every room.
Because when you walk out to the garage to make that cut and you've left it, or you've left it in the garage and go back to your project.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another one that's maybe a little less known, or maybe its brother is a little more commonly known. This type of year, you're putting up Christmas lights. Corey's be putting up some Christmas lights. And if you haven't taken cup hooks and put cup hooks all of the places where you want to hang your lights from your house, then you might be using a squeeze stapler or a hammer tacker or something like that to staple those up. Now, I want to just make a side note here. If you're stapling up your Christmas lights, you need to be very careful because it's very important not to drive a staple through the cord, which I assume everybody knows that, but it's notable.
It's actually not recommended to install Christmas lights with a staple gun.
And yet,
Clark Griswold did. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Staple gun is a great tool for so many different reasons, reupholstering and for just attaching things. It's a very squeezed, Arrow makes a squeeze type stapler like a T50. Otherwise, a hammer tacker is like a stapler, but you swing it, and when it makes contact with the thing you're stapling, then it drives the staple.
Yeah.
It's very easy to use. It's kind of a specific tool for that type of work.
We've used a hammer tacker on our projects, installing felt paper on a roof or insulation into a bay. You can flip those tabs down and hammer tacker the paper tabs on insulation. It makes it super easy to install.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great tool. Not expensive. $25-$30 maybe.
Yeah,
it's a cool tool.
It's that definitely would be one that I would want.
Here's something that would be a great gift idea for me and not for Corey. Corey, this is a drill bit set. A drill bit set is something that everyone needs. Corey has 422 drill bit sets in his garage. He has more drill bits in there probably than he has anything else.
Can never have enough.
He has an entire cabinet devoted to drill bit sets. So many drill bit sets.
Well,
I'm super jealous.
Drill bit sets, because there's different types of drill bits.
Yeah, I know.
You know, you have concrete drill bits, you have wood drill bits, you have metal drill bits, but you know, like spade bits are a totally different bit set than your standard wood drilling bit set. You have auger bits,
Tile bits, concrete bits.
yeah, there's just so many. You got to have a full set of each because you never know what you're drilling into, and you can just run out there and say, "Hold on, I have a set for that." Be right back.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If anybody has said I've got a set for that, it's Corey. He's got a drill bit set for everything. It's a great gift. Drill bits break, they get lost, they end up
dull.
They get dull. They end up in the wrong drawer or somewhere lost. Drill bits is a great gift, not expensive.
Easily under $100.
You just need to know what the drill bit is going to be used for, or get a couple. Get a metal drill bit set for drilling metal and a wood bit set for drilling wood.
Yeah.
And those are great gift ideas.
Going along with that, a bit set. Not a drill bit set, but a regular bit set that comes with, multiple bits of each, Phillips and flathead and, Torx and square drive, everything under the sun that you would ever need to screw or unscrew into anything, a bit set.
Yeah, those
Very
also seem to get lost or break, or they get worn out so that they just don't grip the screw head. I mean, it's so important to have a bit that is gripping the head of the screw that you're using. It's so important. You could say, I got a number 2 Phillips drive, but if it's 5 years old,
round it out,
it's probably just going to cause you more headache.
Oh, yeah.
And they only cost, 50 cents a piece or whatever. So a really good set of bits like that for the drill is a great gift.
I just will quickly say, get a quality set. You go sometimes and they have these really cheap, $3 or $4 sets with, 50 bits in them. Those things are garbage. I mean, they really are. Unless it's like on super duper sale or something. But
it's also notable that if you're using them with an impact wrench, that they do make impact bits for impact wrenches,
right,
and regular bits for a regular drill or a screwdriver. So that those impact bits do work better. They are harder. They're a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, the last set there I would do would be a socket set. Always do with a good, nice, new, full, complete socket set.
All right, we've got to take another quick break. When we come back, more Christmas gift ideas. Your weekend warriors, Tony and Corey, don't go away.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show. Thanks for sticking around. It's almost Christmas time, so Tony and I are giving out a massive list of Christmas gift ideas. Before the break, we were talking about drill bit sets. Socket set was the last one I gave out, but so many good ideas there. What's the next one on your list, Tony?
I think the next thing I want to talk about is something that you would find in a tool bag, right? If you're doing anything at all with wood, or even you can use this for metal as well, most commonly probably for wood, but this is something everybody's going to want to have in their tool bag. And if you don't have a tool bag, a tool bag.
Yeah, that is the number one thing on my over $100 list is a good set of tool bags, specifically Occidental.
Yes.
Occidental leather tool bags are the bar. I mean, they are the tool bags that you would buy that you would hand down to your grandchildren.
I think that's what I would take away from a conversation or several conversations I've heard over the years is that a set of Occidental bags is a set of bags that you're not just buying for yourself. It's a set of bags that you're buying for yourself that could belong to your children or your children's children. These literally will last forever. If you are in the business, you're a framer, you frame every day, then you could wear out a set of bags like that. You could feasibly.
Yeah, I've seen guys replace them after 10 years.
Or longer, yeah. But if this is a set of bags that you bought for yourself and you're just a weekend warrior, chances are you will not wear them out and you'll definitely be able to hand them down. They are quality made bags that are not super inexpensive by any means. but they do everything you want them to do.
Yeah.
These are bags made for professionals, and they have everything you need.
Yeah, you'll expect to pay between $200 and $300, depending on the set that you get.
And they have a lot of different options.
Tons for the electrician, for the plumber, for the framer, for the, they have woodworking vests that you can wear as vests that have different pockets for just, very specific things. So I think if you go, the website, is it still Best Belt?
I'm not sure.
I think it used to be bestbelt.com.
Spelled Occidental, Occidental, Occidental. And they make leather bags. They make, I don't know, those Gore-Tex bags maybe, or nylon bags. They make light bags, heavy bags. You name them.
They have hand tool carry bags. So that's another thing on my list is a tool bag that's more of like a tote.
Yeah, tote.
I have a tool tote in my garage that I have the essential tools in. We've done a show about the essential tools.
Yep.
And I've actually talked about this specific thing because I use mine all the time. If I have a small project on the other side of the house, I don't like running from the back corner of my house out to my garage, back to the back corner, back to my garage.
Yeah.
I have all of those essential tools in one place, and it's in a little square tote that has all of these pockets in it, and I have little things in there, and I could just take it with me.
Right.
Occidental makes those. I mean, those things are sweet.
One of the things that makes that tote for you work really well is that you have redundant tools in there. You don't have to go to that tote to get a tool when you need that specific tool. You have that tool in that tote, and you have that tool available to you where you keep it stored normally. So that tote is got those essential tools and just those essential tools, and that's in addition to all of the rest of your tools and your other essential tools, right?
Yeah.
So that's what makes that. I also have that same tool bag. Mine's a little different, but it's got my essential tools in it, and we have it available whenever I need it. I can take it to wherever I got to go with it.
I'm on the Occidental website right now. It is occidentalleather.com, but all of these things are available at Parr Lumber.
Yep.
If they're not on the shelf, anything in here can be special ordered from Occidental. So just keep that in mind. It does take a little bit to get them, so now's the time to get in.
Absolutely. Occidental tool bags are a great, great product.
I see something I'm going to add to my Christmas list, as a matter of fact.
I love that. So the first thing that I put in my tool bag, which I feel like is so very important, is a speed square. I have multiple speed squares. I have plastic speed squares. I have metal speed squares. I have big speed squares, small speed squares. I love speed square. A speed square is a tool that is multifunctional, but it's so easy to grab, put it on a square surface, get a 90-degree mark for making a clean cut in the simplest of applications.
Yeah. I use mine as a straight edge for cutting with my saw. It's a very, versatile tool, but I honestly have to say, Tony, yours is probably more of a slow square.
Oh, well, it's true. I definitely like to measure 3 times and only have to cut twice.
Some other things that I keep in my little tool bag as an essential would be an electrical tester. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of projects around the house, and replacing old lights, old fixtures, old switches, and those sorts of things, it's pretty common.
Yep.
I mean, I've replaced tons of them.
Yep.
An electrical tester, what it does is it's just like a little tool that measures to see if there's electricity in that thing or whatever you're working on. You push a little button, you stick it in there, and it'll either flash or beep or do something to let you know that, yes, there is in fact electricity in this box. It is unsafe to put your fingers in there. I highly recommend it. Those things are like
very
$10.
inexpensive, yeah.
And if you have anybody that does any sort of work like that, an electrical tester, done. Need to have one.
It's a great gift. They make several different kinds, and some of them have different options. You can actually get one that doesn't require pressing a button. You can just it just lights up or vibrates when you get near a current, and then you don't have to worry about
mine specifically. You have to push the button. Tony did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know. Mine doesn't have a button, so.
Just say getting shocked hurts.
Are you saying it was a shocking experience?
It was very
working with Tony is a shocking experience.
Painful.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we had it, we used it, we just didn't use it right, and that's important too as well.
Read the instruction manual.
Here's another one, Corey. This is a great gift idea I feel like gets used by anybody, any weekend warrior. Is a nice set of clamps. There's quite a few different kinds of clamps, but another thing we ran into when we were working on this table project that we did is we needed clamps. You have clamps, a lot of clamps, but in this case we needed a specific kind of clamp, and you had
they needed to be long.
Yeah, you had
needed
some,
4-foot
but
clamps.
not quite enough, so we kind of had to combine our efforts, but we ended up getting them. But wood clamps are great. There's the kind of wood clamps that you just squeeze for small projects, little squeeze clamps. There's, of course, bar clamps or pipe clamps that can get kind of long. Quick clamps. There's these C clamps. What do you use a C clamp for?
Well, anything, it's just dependent upon what you're clamping and to what. You could use a C clamp if you were clamping a piece of wood to a tabletop, or two smaller pieces of wood together, because you have, the C portion of that. There's a throat essentially, and it just whatever fits. And so, sometimes having the right clamp for the right situation is invaluable. For instance, the clamps that we actually had to go and buy to build that tabletop.
Yep.
We couldn't have done it without those specific clamps, and I have small ones. I have longer ones now. I have C clamps. I have just, there's just a multitude of uses for all different clamps. And you ask any woodworker, there's never enough.
Yeah, there's never enough.
Never
clamps.
have enough wood clamps.
So many clamps.
So
yeah,
I definitely recommend that as a gift.
Okay, how about this one? The biggest, most essential clamp of all of them. It's not called a clamp, though. How about a vise?
Ooh.
The biggest clamp.
Yes.
A monster clamp. I love
a bench vise.
A vise, yeah, a bench vise. I feel like I do not have a vise.
I don't either.
Currently in my arsenal, but a vise is something that my dad had on the workshop when I was growing up. He used it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time. I would
solid steel.
like very much to have. And a lot of times you get a vise and you bolt that thing to your heavy duty, table. And then on one side of it's like an anvil.
Yes.
It's got this plate where you could just pound on things. I mean, that is a beefy tool. It's no joke. If you give it for Christmas, someone's going to guess what it is. They're going to say there's an engine block or a vise. That's what's in here.
Like, here's your 50-pound tin of cookies.
Yeah.
But those actually are quite a bit more expensive than you would think. A decent bench vise is going to set you back $150, $200 easily.
Wow.
So that's a good gift idea.
It's a great tool. You could use it for so many. I mean, every time you need a third hand to do what you're doing, that's an opportunity to use a bench vise.
To safely grind metal on something. I mean, you got to have a bench vise.
Yeah, whatever that is. So anyway, bench vise, love that tool. And there's so many other things. A sawhorse set, for example. I know that seems like an unconventional Christmas gift, but it's something that everybody uses, and it's a great idea.
Well, and there's a difference between getting good ones and great ones, and I'll tell you about that after the break.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Tony and Corey, your Weekend Warriors. Don't go away.
Listening to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. When it comes to big or small projects around the home, Tony and Corey have got the know-how and the answers to make your life just a bit easier. Now, here's Tony and Corey.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Parr Lumber. I'm Corey Valdez.
I'm Tony Cookston.
Thanks for sticking around with us. Today we're talking about Christmas gift ideas for the Weekend Warrior in your family.
Yes.
And before the break, we had mentioned sawhorses, which does sound kind of lame, buying somebody a set of sawhorses. But there's a difference between buying, anything, right? If somebody doesn't have something and you buy it for them that they need it, then they're probably appreciative.
I agree
But if
with
they
that.
have a set already, like say they have a set of sawhorses that are lame, that fall apart, that are wimpy, and they tip over, they don't hold very much weight, consider getting them a set of Trojan sawhorses. This is a local company to the Pacific Northwest. They're based right out of Washougal, Washington. And they make these sawhorses that are unbelievably strong.
And collapsible.
Yes, they collapse down. They're pretty heavy. They're solid steel. But when you set a set of them up, they will hold thousands of pounds. They literally, in their advertisements, they show a set of Trojan sawhorses holding up units of plywood.
Yeah, that's right. They are very, very strong.
We have a set that we bought for our mobile collapsible workbench video that we did. And you'll see, if you go watch that video on our YouTube channel, you'll see what they look like. And they're not cheap.
I love that. I mean, that is a prime example of what these are perfect for. How many times have we set up and taken down that workbench?
Oh, yeah, hundreds of times.
Yeah, countless times we've set it up and taken it down and set up and taken it down. And it takes up just the tiniest little bit of space when it's collapsed. And then it's full on, workbench when it's up. So it's nice to be able to take the legs off and not worry about how strong it is when it's standing.
I will say, Trojan sawhorses, you can buy them at Parr Lumber Company, but you buy them by the pair. So they come in a box.
You buy them by the horse.
No, by the pair.
One sawhorse comes in a box.
Correct.
One sawhorse comes in a box. That's right.
But there's two in there, but that makes one horse.
That's the key.
That's the key.
It's so confusing because it's collapsible. It's 4 legs, but 4 legs only makes one horse. And so if you think I want to get a pair of sawhorses and you go buy a box of Trojan sawhorses, you're going to get one horse.
Four legs makes one horse.
That's right. 4
one
legs
2x4 that fills those up. So if you could use that, they're pretty handy, but really you would need 2 boxes.
Ideally, you would get 2 boxes. That would give you 2 sawhorses, which would give you 2 halves of a working surface.
And that'll set you back about anywhere, but depending on which size, you can get different sizes of them between, $70 and $80.
Yeah.
Per side.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but they're worth it.
They are worth it. They're absolutely amazing.
I had them did I tell you about this?
Mm-mm.
I had those in the back of my truck, and I was driving through McDonald's or something, and there was a construction worker in the parking lot. And he ran over to my truck and knocked on my window and asked me where he could buy them.
Really?
Yes. He was like, "Where did you get those?"
Yeah.
I need a set of those. And I was like, Parr Lumber.
Parr Lumber.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Scared me.
They are absolutely.
I almost threw my Big Mac at them.
Yeah, absolutely top quality sawhorses. And we get a lot of uses out of the ones we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through some smaller things that, let's go back to that toolkit. What are some basic things that we would put in that toolkit? For instance, a pipe cutter.
A pipe cutter, absolutely.
Copper pipe cutter.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of those tools that if you don't have it, you need it.
It's not expensive.
You can't cut copper pipe cleanly without one. And if you're doing any sort of, fixing things like that, you'll need a pipe cutter. Yeah, they're super inexpensive.
Super inexpensive and so easy to use. It's silly not to have it, for sure.
How about a monkey wrench or a pipe wrench?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, for a decent pair or a decent set, what would you call it? Would you call them a pair?
Why
do you call pliers a pair of pliers?
Because it has 2 halves, of course. But a monkey wrench is just
pair
one.
Of scissors?
One monkey wrench.
Could you just use one scissor?
I mean, you can if you would want to.
Wouldn't that just be a knife?
Stab something? Yeah, it kind of would.
What would you do with one plier?
With a weird handle with a hole in it.
One grippy plier? Just makes no sense.
It makes a paperweight, maybe.
But anyway, yeah. So, like if you're doing any sort of plumbing, you'd need a pipe cutter. You would need a monkey wrench or a pipe wrench.
I just thought of an amazing idea.
What?
You take 1/2 of a pair of scissors and 1/2 of a pair of pliers and put them together. It's a scissor plier.
Scissor plier?
It holds it and cuts it at the same time.
Patent it.
Patent.
Trademark. Scissor cutter.
Scissor plier. I don't know. Scissor gripper.
Plizzers.
Yeah, we're not inventors. I don't know. Corey kind of is actually, but those are very good ideas. Hey, look, we're going to talk about saws. We're going to talk a lot about saws in this show because saws there's so many things out there. But in that essential toolkit, what I find is a pull saw, which is just a
That's my
handheld,
favorite.
just a handheld little saw for sawing the smallest little things. It can be some precision work. The coolest thing about it is, how when you're sawing through a piece of wood with a conventional handsaw and you're getting tired kind of, and you're pushing, and then the saw keeps bowing up on you like, wow, wow, and it's not wanting to go through. Well, you know what? This one cuts on the pull instead of the push. And so you put that saw on there and you pull it back and it cuts, and you just ride it forward and pull it back and it cuts. The easiest thing in the world to use. I absolutely love my pull saw.
Yeah, Vaughn makes a small one called a bear saw, and you can buy replacement blades for them. It's fantastic. I use mine all of the time. They're super flexible.
Yep.
They're used for very specific things. For flush cutting things, if you had a dowel, you could put the saw flat onto the surface and bend the handle up and then flush cut that thing flat.
Yeah, very cool.
If you're installing hardwood floors or snap click flooring and you need to get underneath, say, a jamb, I've seen it before where people take snap click flooring and they kind of cut the flooring around the jam.
Because they don't want to push it underneath.
Looks super hokey.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this saw is for. It cuts the jam out so that you can slide that flat underneath.
That is,
but it's a great tool, and those things are only like $20.
Yeah, they're not expensive, and they can be used for so many different things, and they're so easy to use.
Yeah, a pull saw. That's a great one.
Another thing that I have in my essential bag, of course, is a set of screwdrivers. We got a common slot screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, big one, little one, even a tiny one, and maybe a little snub nose, common slot and Phillips. You just, the places that you have to get into with those things a lot of times don't allow for a battery operated or cordless drill. Right. And so a good set of screwdrivers for me is great. And they sell those screwdrivers with replacement tips, but you know what? Those get lost. I just like to have conventional set of maybe 6 or 8 screwdrivers that works good for me.
I have several, but I also have a set of the all-in-ones. I keep that. That's a good stocking stuffer, honestly. An all-in-one screwdriver set.
More Christmas ideas with Tony and Corey right after this.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show. Thanks for staying with us. Today we're talking about Christmas gift ideas for the Weekend Warrior in your life. And I was telling earlier in the show, one of the most fun things is when somebody comes into Parr Lumber Company and I'm standing there and they say, "Can you help me find a present?" And I say, absolutely. That is my favorite thing in the world, to walk with somebody through the aisles, showing them all the different cool little gadgets and toys and tools that somebody would find useful. And I always ask questions. What do they do? Are they a professional? Do they frame for a living? Are they a contractor, or are they a
do-it-yourselfer?
Do-it-yourselfer, a weekend warrior. So you can always find something that they probably don't have that they could use.
Yeah.
So a fun thing to do is to get really cool stuff and put it in the stocking. So let's run through some of those stocking stuffers.
Absolutely.
That are small enough to fit. Because, my stocking, I bought the biggest one. It's huge. You know what I mean?
Lots of stuff can fit in there.
Tons. Gotta fill it up.
All right. Well, so let's right at the top, how about this? Even though we're thinking about Christmas, we're also thinking about safety. And one really big excuse, maybe the biggest excuse that people use for not wearing proper protective equipment when they use power saws and those types of big tools.
I don't have it.
I don't have any. Yeah.
I don't know where my glasses are.
Yeah. So they're very inexpensive. $10 maybe-ish or so, certainly under 20. You can get a nice pair of safety glasses. You can get a nice pair of earmuffs or earplugs. They make those earplugs. It's like it's got a little band, right, with earplugs on both sides. You have it around your neck until you need it, and then pop it up into your ears and then take it back off. Ear protection, eye protection, hand protection. How about gloves? Some work gloves. They've got some super thin ones so that you can feel what you're working with, or some heavier ones if you're working with some really rugged stuff. Those are great gift ideas for the stocking.
Yeah, You know, I just bought a pair of these, like, more like tactical gloves. They're kind of a cross between a mechanic glove and like, like a work glove, but maybe something
Super grippy.
Yeah, but like something maybe like a Navy SEAL would wear.
Something Tom Cruise would wear in Mission Impossible.
I mean, I love those. And I bought them for my emergency preparedness kit. But it's a great thing to have because your hands, if you're working on stuff that you're not normally working on, especially the weekend warrior who only maybe uses their hands every other weekend or something, you got to protect them because they get soft.
What size gloves would I get for your stocking?
Medium. I don't know.
You have to give me extra
girl hands.
You have to give me extra banana. Yeah. Extra banana
hands.
Yeah.
I got little hands, but they work.
Yeah. Well, gloves are a great gift. I agree with that.
So, but yeah, ear protection, glasses. That's a really good one. So you have on here LED.
Yeah.
LED anything.
That's the thing. There's so much now. We were just talking about that little tape measure, which has got an LED light on it. They have these lights, really cool work lights. It's kind of like a wand. Let's say that it's about 18 or 24 inches long. It's got a light at each end, and then the middle between the two lights is flexible. So you can just put it around your neck, aim them both forward, up a little bit, and it's around your neck, not in your hands. And it's aiming at whatever you're looking at.
And Parr has those?
Yes, they're on the shelf right now, and they're inexpensive.
I think I need one.
Absolutely great stocking. So you can't get one. I already bought one for your stocking.
Good.
Do you have a rule in your household where a certain amount of days before Christmas you can't buy anything for yourself?
Well, my wife has that rule.
Oh, I see.
I don't abide.
You don't ever really stop buying things for yourself, do you? If you need it, you just get it.
If I need it, I get it.
You don't ask questions.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Christmas list is cheesy, in my opinion. Hey, write down all the things you want on a piece of paper.
And then I'll go buy what you want.
And I'll pick those. I'll just buy those.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I hear what you're saying. That's why this Christmas list that we're giving to the people to give them those ideas so that they don't have to ask. Right? Instead, you can ask questions surrounding it. Would you ever use what is this used for?
I'll tell you what, one of the best gifts my wife has ever gotten me without talking to me, without anything. She bought me a Craig jig, like a nice one. And we used the living heck out of that thing building this latest black walnut table. If you don't have a Craig jig, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this tool, it is this most simple thing in the world. It's a simple idea where you drill a angled pocket hole into the side of a piece of wood.
Right at the end.
And it, when you screw the two pieces together, that's all it does. It drills this little pocket hole.
Yeah, a little
pocket hole jig.
Drills a little tunnel, and then just at the end of the tunnel, a tiny, tiny little hole right in the center, and that hole comes right out of the middle of the end of that piece of wood. And so you go and drive a screw through there, and it goes right out of the middle of the end of that wood and right into the middle of the other piece of wood you're attaching it to. Man, it's amazing.
And it's a very, very secure joint, and it works great.
It really does.
And my wife got me that gift, and it's phenomenal.
And you didn't ask for it.
I didn't ask for it.
She didn't tell you were getting it.
I absolutely wanted one, and I never said anything about it. I just said, man, that is a really cool thing. And then after I got it, I used it, and I mean, I fell in love. I use it all the time now.
Yeah. How many pocket holes did we drill for that table?
Oh, at least 100 well over 100.
Yeah, well over 100. It was a lot.
Pocket holes, yes.
It was a lot.
And that table is solid.
Yeah, it is solid, absolutely. So those little lights, those little LED lights, a great idea.
Yeah.
Neck light, they have a pocket light that clips right onto the pocket of your shirt.
A pen light.
They got a pen light that can also be in the pocket of your shirt.
What about a Miller light?
Well, I'm sure Miller light would, for a lot of people, not be a terrible stocking stuffer. But here's another thing I like to find in my stocking, which is something that's necessary, but I probably don't buy it for myself. O'Keeffe's Working Hands Cream. Have you ever used that stuff?
I have, because Gorilla Glue Company bought O'Keeffe's, and they sell this stuff. And they actually sent us a box of it.
Yeah.
And they make chapstick. They make cream for your hands, and it works phenomenally. And the best part about it is it doesn't smell
They make chapstick, huh?
super duper flowery. You're using the chapstick.
It's blurry. It didn't go. Yeah, O'Keefe's.
Of course it didn't.
O'Keefe's lip repair. This stuff is awesome.
It is awesome.
Absolutely. It actually tastes like a candy cane. Which
I like the
is perfect.
peppermint one better than the plain one. They make a plain and they make a minty one.
Yeah,
the
that's
minty
this one. Cooling relief.
Yes.
Lip balm. O'Keefe's hand cream. O'Keefe's products as a whole are great products. They really are amazing. That's a great gift idea for a stocking stuffer. Absolutely.
Here's a funny one. A cat's paw.
Oh.
A cat's paw sounds like a weird...
What? How do you choose the cat you take that from?
A cat's paw is a metal tool for removing nails. It's kind of, I would give this to somebody that does framing or, does framing projects
or
even.
Demo.
Yeah, or demo.
Yeah, a demolition worker would use that.
You hit one side of it with a hammer, and the other side is shaped like a cat's paw, so you can get down in through the wood fiber and pull that nail out.
Yeah, a lot of times the nail head is sunk down below the surface of the fiber, and you got to dig right down in there and get it. This is a great way to do that.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool, and it's very inexpensive.
And very strong. You use it for prying and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's a great tool. I agree. That's another one of the things that's in my essential bag.
Yes.
Cat's paw.
I was asking somebody earlier today what they thought was a really good gift idea, and they told me hand warmers.
Oh, yeah.
It's like really good stocking stuffer.
Oh, my goodness. My wife keeps hand warmers on hand on the regular. Absolutely. Her hands get cold really easy. She loves hand warmers.
Especially this time of year. And they're pretty cheap. You can buy them for, what, $1?
They're very inexpensive. They come in like a 2-pack or a 4-pack. Yeah, very inexpensive, easy to use. They last, I feel like they last a long time for what you paid for. And it's definitely a great stocking stuffer. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, more lists of Christmas ideas. You're listening to Tony Core, your Weekend Warriors. Don't go away.
Hey, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show. Thanks for staying with us. Today we're talking about Christmas gift ideas, and we're talking about stocking stuffers currently. The top one on my list was a Fat Max tape. Would fit in a stocking, no problem. But we're talking about O'Keefe's hand cream, screwdrivers, hand warmers, work gloves. How about a pocket knife?
Oh, yeah.
A pocket knife, a really good pocket knife is invaluable. I mean, not only for the Weekend Warrior but for everybody to have. Camping, I mean, they're just great to have.
Sarge makes a really good pocket knife. Old Timer, my dad carried around an Old Timer pocket knife.
That's literally what it was called.
That's what it's called. It's a
Old
brand.
Timer.
It's Old Timer, yeah. And absolutely, he was never anywhere without that. He used it for everything. Literally everything. Cleaning under his fingernails.
Really?
Unscrewing a screw, you name it.
Like an old timer.
Yeah, an old timer. Old timer pocket knife. Those are cool. But you know what's a step up from just a pocket knife? A Leatherman.
Yes.
A multi-tool. Something that's got scissors and a file and, 4 or 5 different blades in there and a screwdriver and a toothpick. You name it. Those things seem to have everything.
Yeah. They're
pliers.
I also bought one for my emergency preparedness kit. And they're really handy to have.
They really are.
In a pinch, I like to keep one in my truck. So if I need to, just anything, little projects, they're great.
They absolutely are great. I love those things. It's a super good stocking stuffer idea.
Let's jump.
Yeah, let's jump. We were talking about essential tools for your essential tool bag. You remember one of the things we talked about, of course, was just a decent set of screwdrivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go quickly through another little section of things that should be in that. How about an Allen set?
Yes. And if you don't know what an Allen set is, some people call them Allen keys, but it's
Allen wrench,
hexagonal tool bit.
Generally in the shape of a 7 or an L.
Yeah. And you can buy them, in sets of metric and SAE. I like to have both sets, and you want a full, complete set of both sets. If somebody has one and they're really old, they're probably missing or they're rounded over. So a brand new set of SAE and metric Allen set keys are That's a great gift.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways to get them. You can get a small compact set that's kind of like a, kind of like a knife in a way, and they
like
just
a switch,
fold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them fold out. That's a small, inexpensive set. You can also buy them with a T handle with a long head on it, and those things can really allow you to get in there and tighten those things up good. So that's really good. How about
Again, don't chintz.
No, don't chintz. How
Don't
about
cheap.
box end wrenches?
Yes.
Open end and box end wrenches.
Yeah. That's a same sort of thing. You can buy metric and SAE. So you'd have, 2 millimeter through 20 millimeter and, 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch, depending on how small you want to get them, all the way through 7/8 or 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inch. So yeah, those sets of wrenches, box end and open end wrenches.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, those are good. That really kind of rounds out my essential tool bag. I think most of the things that really needed to be in there.
Really?
I mean, because we've talked about some of them earlier in the show, and now we're talking about some of them now. Is it
weak bag?
Well, thanks a lot.
I mean,
I think I didn't necessarily. I mean, it's got pliers in it too, right? There's several different sets of pliers that would be in there. We kind of talked about those. We talked about lineman's pliers, plumber's pliers. We talk about vice grips. That's a set of pliers, but it's a different animal.
Well, yeah, we haven't talked about pliers yet on today's show. We have talked about pliers before. I mean, yes, there are a million different types of pliers: needle nose, dikes, plumber's pliers, linesman's, nippers, wire strippers, bolt cutters. There's all these crazy different things that fit into that category. But if you just got a plier set, Nipex with a K, K-N-I-P-E-X.
Oh man, yeah.
Be prepared to spend some cash.
Those things are...
Nipex is probably the best all-around plier tool in the world.
I agree with that.
They're,
and they also,
bar none, they're known for it.
They also make a set of pliers, really strong pliers, that are about 4 inches tall. It's like a miniature little set of plumber's pliers. I mean, they are really, really nice. Super strong. Channel Lock makes a good set of pliers as well.
Yes.
But Nipex definitely, in my opinion, tops the chart as far as quality goes.
Yeah. Super easy to use, high quality.
Vice grip now.
Yeah, that's different.
Clamping pliers, right? These are pretty essential. I would say a set of vice grips is pretty essential.
Yeah, for depending on what you're doing. If you're somebody that's working with plumbing a lot, or metal and things like that, maybe even the mechanic in your life, yeah, vice grips are great.
And this is essentially a combination of a clamp and a set of pliers. You grip right onto it, mobile-like, and it clamps down, and then you just got a little release. Yeah, it locks down, and it's got a little release lever that lets it up. We actually used a pair of a modified set of those vice grip type things with your Craig jig when we were doing drilling those mobile holes down through that area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great tool, for example.
What are some other tools? Let's go with some power tools.
Yeah, we haven't started talking about some big
over
stuff.
$100. You're going to be getting into some of these more expensive, gift ideas. But I tell you what, Makita has come out with the most incredible line of yard tools ever.
And they're cordless.
They're completely cordless. They use the same Makita batteries as their drills, as their saws, everything. It's the same battery. But these new Makita yard tools, the bigger ones, use 2 batteries. So you slam 2 batteries on there, and you can, like I have one, and I can weed whack my entire yard. I mow, and then I use the trimmer, the line trimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Take the batteries off of that, put it on the blower, blow the entire lawn, the driveway. I can clean everything off with the same 2 batteries, and I don't have to try and start anything. No gasoline, none of that garbage.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's saying something, because what's happening right now during the holiday season, Parr Lumber Company actually has Makita tools on sale, and they have some sales where you buy a tool that comes in a box with 2 batteries, right? You buy a tool with 2 batteries, and they give you 2 more batteries for free.
Which is an amazing deal, because those batteries range between $80 and $120 a piece, depending on how much power they hold.
Yeah, that's
Those are very expensive
$200 or
batteries.
$250 discount that they're giving you. And I tell you, one of those tools, just as an example, is the Makita rear handle circular saw, which you own.
Yeah, we use that almost exclusively. I can't even tell you the last time I pulled out my corded skill saw.
Right.
I can't even tell you.
Right.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, because that rear handle Makita circular saw just absolutely does the job.
And it's got power.
And it does it well.
You can make hundreds of cuts with it. I mean, why would you want to plug something in when you can just have it cordless?
Right. Yeah.
And when
right.
the batteries die, you swap them out.
Yeah. It works really good. It's a great performer. It does not lag. It's definitely a great tool. And Makita seems to be setting that example.
Well, here's the best part about that saw is it takes standard 7 1/4 saw blades.
Yeah.
You know, some of the first cordless saws that came out, special blade. And I'm not kidding you. I was a skeptic. They are so powerful. I throw one battery on my trimmer and I can trim my yard, both front and back. Same battery, blow the whole thing out and it's clean.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not burning any fossil fuels doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
No, it's great. I agree with that. And everything they've got, they've gone on this whole cordless thing. They've got all of these cordless tools, and they all use the same battery, and they're absolutely phenomenal. I have a couple of Makita tools, which allowed me to have some Makita batteries to get started. Now I can buy more tools, and I don't necessarily have to buy more batteries or whatever. But I love the versatility. You know, I bought a Makita blower, a small Makita blower. They have some big ones too. I bought a small Makita blower to blow off the workbench or the saw or whatever I'm using. But I was excited to learn that it has a second use.
starting fires.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. If we go camping, and Corey and I do go camping together, we go camping and Corey pulls out the old Makita thing and he gets the little fire started down there and blows on those coals. And man, that thing just goes, that's absolutely great.
I know. I actually learned of doing that because I was down there. You know, you put your face down there and you're blowing on the fire trying to get it going, and then you're sucking in all the smoke, and it's horrible. And then that one day I was like, I don't know why I just don't bring my Makita blower.
Yeah.
And there's me with the biggest fire in the campground.
Yeah, that was
sitting in my chair.
Absolutely great. And then the blower comes back out about every 15 minutes. Just stoke that thing.
Just keep it going.
Stoke it. Yeah, there's a lot of Makita tools. Impact driver, right? Impact driver and drill driver set. Great set. Absolutely. Everybody needs to have. You use your impactor more than your screwdriver. I'd say probably 5-1.
Oh yeah, driving screws and impactor. That's where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah, it works really good. But but there are some things you don't want to use an impactor for, and so having a screwdriver or a drill driver and an impactor is a great set.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Here's a really cool one if you have the money. A fine tool, spelled F-E-I-N. Fine tools are not cheap. You're going to be paying $300 plus.
German made, right?
German made. They seem really silly, but it's an oscillating tool. So this motor oscillates the saw blade, kind of a flat bladed bare thing that you wouldn't think would cut anything.
Right.
But they work phenomenally for getting into small areas and in tight spaces, for cutting perfectly straight lines and sheetrock. Anything you could imagine, you can cut with them.
Yeah, you mentioned cutting off the bottom of a door jamb earlier, which is right there close to the ground. But this thing gets right down there and zzz.
Oh yeah, no time at all.
No time at all. That is great German technology. There's obviously other brands that are making multi-tools now. Almost everybody is, because it's such an amazing tool. But Fine definitely did a great job making that tool. And I think that the other tools have everything that one's got. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a couple other big ones. Some really good big tool ideas. An air compressor.
Yes.
Well, we're getting up there in price.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be spending $300 plus on a decent sized air compressor. But that's a fantastic gift idea if they don't have one.
Yeah, and if you're not somebody who does a lot with an air compressor, but you would like to have it for small craft projects, you can get a small half horse maybe 1 gallon air compressor, very inexpensive. A lot of times you can get one in a kit with a little finish gun like a brad nailer or a stapler. And for 110, 120, 130 bucks
Yeah,
maybe.
that's true. You can get the small ones. That's a good idea.
And those tell you what, I pack my little one around all the time for whatever I need a brad nail for or a stapler for. It works really good. But of course, sometimes you got to have a bigger job.
Well, which again, that's a great gift idea. Pneumatic nail guns are awesome. They're awesome tools.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have somebody that builds anything, a pneumatic framing nailer, coil nailer, finish nailer, brad nailer, pin nailer, they're all different. Pin nail is going to be your smallest.
Tiny
little, they're wire nails, essentially. They don't even have heads on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's for like the very finish stuff that you're doing. Brad nails are also finished, but they have a smaller head on them. Finish nails are quite a bit bigger, but they also have finish heads on them. Then you get into the framing and coil nails. Coil nailer is really great for roofing, for siding, putting up fence boards. I actually built my fence in my backyard a couple years back, and I went and bought a coil nailer just to install my fence because it was so efficient.
Yeah.
And it saved me hours and hours and hours. So that's a really great tool. And they're not terribly expensive. A couple $100.
Right.
But
here's another thing, an absolute must is a set of levels. And the best brand, in my opinion, for levels is Stabila. I feel like Stabila makes a really good level, and they oftentimes will sell their levels in kits like a torpedo level with a 2-foot level, a 4-foot level, and a 6-foot level. For honestly not much more than $100, maybe $150. I feel like there's a deal going on at Parr Lumber right now.
yeah, sometimes the kits you can get
for
a smoking deal. If you were to buy Stabila levels separately, yeah, a 6-foot Stabila level is like $200 easily, over $200. A 4-foot level is going to run you $60. So sometimes you can get those kits in there where they kind of combine and bundle them together. That is an amazing way to buy them.
Yeah, it really is. And Stabila makes a super great level.
The bright yellow ones.
They are bright yellow with little red accents. How about this one, Corey? This is a big one. This is a really big one. I know that you are in love with your table saw, but I'll tell you what, Bosch makes a table saw, a 10-inch table saw that sells with a gravity stand. And this gravity stand makes the saw super portable. You lay that thing down, fold it over, pick it up by the handle. You can carry it in one hand. And then when you get to where you're at, you flip that thing back around, swing that table underneath it, and boom, you've got it.
Yeah, it uses gas cylinders. So when you kind of click that thing over, it rises itself, up into a table.
Yeah, and it's got wheels on it.
Yeah, when you go the other way, you can pull it and then it lays down flat. It's pretty neat thing. They're not cheap though.
No, they're not cheap. They're, $600. But it is a nice tool and it's very portable, which makes it even nicer.
I'll give you another power tool that should be in everybody's arsenal, a Sawzall.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, you could buy Sawzalls for under $100 for a really good Milwaukee Sawzall. You got to have it.
Yeah, Milwaukee definitely makes an amazing Sawzall. As a matter of fact, I think the word or the name Sawzall is a Milwaukee name.
It is.
And everybody calls them Sawzall. It's actually a reciprocating saw.
Right. Everybody else calls theirs reciprocating saw.
Yeah, but Milwaukee's got that Sawzall locked down. They know how to do it for sure.
Another big purchase might be a compound miter saw.
Oh, yeah.
Sliding compound miter saw. Makita actually makes a battery-operated one.
Yes.
I'm very excited to play with one. I want to get one really badly. The one that I have is quite a few years old, doesn't really cut straight anymore.
Yeah.
I want to get a new one. And the Makita one blows my mind that it just uses 2 Makita batteries and you can get
Well, you be jealous
a ton of cuts.
I've used it. I don't own it, but I've used it. And
it is pretty slick?
Slick, baby. Absolutely. Very nice.
Yeah, I want that.
I like that. It's got a laser on it too, which, lines out your cut for you. It makes it really nice. Well, this is it. This is a great list of things. I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff. If you soaked up any of this, then you should have something that will help you when you go out to buy the gift for the weekend warrior in your life. All right, folks, that's all the time we got. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of Your Weekend Warriors.
Right here on the Weekend Warriors Radio Network, and have a Merry Christmas.